Hello everyone, my name is Leslie. Welcome back to my channel. This is a series of Frugal Thoughts, and this is a channel where I share with you my Frugal Thought for today. And my Frugal Thought today is something, I did a video about knowing what your why is, as why we're doing what we're doing in order to save money and to, while we're on this journey. And one of the, it's very tempting when you're on this journey to never spend money. And I call that Tightwad Trauma. I have mentioned in the past that I am someone who was raised in a family and in a situation where we were constantly told, we have no money, we have no money, we have no money. No matter what happened in our lives, we had no money, we had no money, we had no money. And that leaves a lasting, very strong impact on your mind and your psyche. And as a result, I have been very frugal. And I don't know, I guess you could go one of two ways. You can become very frugal or you can be very frivolous with your money. I don't know. But for me, I became very frugal. And I think it's what the people say about people who grew up in the Depression. Like, you never get that mindset out of your mind that, you know, you never know when things could end. I am someone who, because I was always told, we have no money, we have no money. I went to, started babysitting when I was 10 or 11, very young. I was hat checking, I was babysitting, I was working at restaurants and in high school, because it was very much my understanding and correct understanding that if I wanted to go to college, I was going to have to pay for it myself, which I did. But anyway, I think that that is a good thing, but it can sometimes go too far. And that is what I call my Tightwad Trauma, my unwillingness and perhaps your unwillingness to ever spend money. And this was reflected in this call that this woman called in to Dave Ramsey and said she and her husband were pretty, nicely along on their journey, on paying off their debts in baby step 7, and they were doing well. But her husband wanted to take a trip and she didn't want to go because she didn't want to spend the money. And Dave said, go with your husband. Do what you have to do. This is something that, give yourself the permission, I think is what he said. Give yourself permission to go if it's budgeted. And if you are properly following a budget, which you should all be properly following a budget, we should all be properly following a budget. If it is budgeted, maybe a yearly budget, or maybe it's a monthly, if it's a monthly budget of $100 a month, and at the end of, per year, you can pay $1,200 towards a beach house or a vacation. I know that me and my family, some of my members of my family, are planning on taking a really nice vacation in June. That's a story for another day, because we haven't gone anywhere or done anything in years. At least 2019, because of the pandemic, obviously. But anyway, it is certainly budgeted in our budget. We have the money, and so I'm giving myself the permission to spend that money. Even though there are things that we still need to, this house, we still need to pay off. I'm giving myself permission. I think there's also the idea that, if you've ever watched the movie Up, I think it's a Disney Pixar movie, but in that movie, the husband and wife are always saying, like, we're going to do this later, we're going to do this later. And then she passes away and they never lived their life dream because they were always putting it off, putting it off, and putting it off. And, I don't want to put this dream off, this vacation off. We were going to do it with my oldest son. We were going to do it with my next son. We were going to do it, and then COVID hit, and so we couldn't do it. So this one, we're going to jump on this opportunity to go on this vacation, which I can tell you about later. But I just think if you are someone who is suffering a little bit from Tightwad trauma, if you budget properly, and if you, even if you don't follow Dave Ramsey, which I do recommend that you do, but if you are someone who prepares and thinks about, okay, how much money can I rightfully spend on clothing or shoes or movies? Maybe you just go out once a month for a movie, or even if you, like, I've had some comments from people who say, we never go out, we never do anything. I don't know that that's the right thing either. There is, if you are familiar with Dave Ramsey, you know that as you are paying off your big debt, not your home, but your consumer, I'll call it consumer debt, that's when he refers that to as being the gazelle period. And that's when he says you only eat rice and beans and beans and rice. and you never go out and you never see a movie. If you are someone who is maybe in that step, it's possible that there might be, let's not go to the movie, let's just watch something on cable, not on non-cable TV, because I don't think you're allowed to have cable TV either. But anyway, this is just my frugal thought, that if you are someone who, like me, I openly admit I definitely suffer from Tightwad trauma, that I have to really allow myself to spend money, because it has been so ingrained in me that you never know when disaster is going to strike. And very interestingly, which I've said this before, when, I hate to call this a disaster, but when my husband had his medical event, it was because I had been so careful for so many years, even though he was in a higher wage earning position, that I knew we were going to be okay. So that's the other plus side of being a tightwad, and I've said this before. So I think that if you budget whatever it is that you want, if you want to buy a pair of boots, please don't go out and spend $450 on a pair of boots. But if you do budget and you have for $40 a month, and at the end of the 12 months, you go out and spend and you have a goal in mind that you want to buy X pair of boots, and you budget $40 a month for the next year, then yes, you do have the money to go out and pay that, pay for those expensive boots. Although, of course, you would know that I would say don't buy the boots. Anyway, this is Leslie. Welcome back to my channel. I hope I got my message across, that give yourself permission at times to spend money. Don't let that constant, we have no money, we have no money, we have no money, or we have debt, we have debt, we have debt, become too overwhelming in your ears, because the bottom line is you do have to live your life. This is Leslie. Thank you so much for coming to my, watching my video. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe down there, I think it is. And thank you. Bye-bye.